Sorry, what was the question?
How'd you write this? How long did it take?
Right.
And, all that.
Okay. Well, it took 3 or 4 months to write, and it took longer than it probably should have because, oh, there we go. Because I actually accidentally deleted the script while I was writing it. The first draft of the script I deleted. I saved the file wrong or something. It was completely stupid of me, and it was gone. I had written about 70 pages at that point, and then in one fell swoop, it was just gone. And so, I had an outline that I was working from, but thankfully, while that was completely depressing, I wasn't deterred and went back in, and it was nice actually because once I went back in to actually write the final, what became the final script, I was paying much closer attention to what I was writing, and I was saving my work at every chance that I could. But no, this film was inspired by, I wanted to make a movie. Mark and I were kind of talking about ideas, and I like this sort of subgenre of film of these movies that take place in one night, like one crazy night. Like we were thinking about Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, movies like that, where they kind of, it's this, you're going on this sort of long descent into one evening with these characters, and as an audience, you're kind of experiencing what the characters are experiencing from moment to moment. And so I was excited about that, from a writing standpoint. And then, we wanted the film to end in the way that it ends, but we also wanted to justify it getting to that point. And also, I wanted to make a movie about sex that was funny, that reflected sort of my point of view in a way that was, most big sex comedies you see, I don't know, they treat sex from not from like an adult standpoint, I guess. And so I wanted to make something that was reflective of my own sensibility.
A couple of things. I read some interviews with the actors, the male, and so there's prosthetics involved in this film. And I read that there actually is somebody that has to glue the prosthetics on them. You can't do it yourself? How do you get that job? It's funny because Adam Scott, who plays Alex in the movie, has kind of sent me off on a tour to like let everyone know that those are indeed prosthetics that we used in the film. That is not his real penis. And that was something we had in mind from the beginning of the movie. That was a moment in the film that we knew was going to kind of be a big gag or a big joke, but at the same time we wanted that joke to come from, you hopefully learning more about the characters and learning what they're going through. And so we always wanted to use prosthetics for that moment because we wanted, obviously, there to be a discrepancy between the two dudes in the movie. And so, yeah, this was our makeup artist who, it's funny because, usually when you have a makeup artist in a film, they do makeup. And our makeup artist was wonderful because she's mostly done horror films actually. So she's really good at doing like blood and guts and stuff like that. And so for our movie, we had her doing just very simple, basic makeup, but then she also had to do the prosthetics in the film. And yes, it was probably a 30 to 45 minute process of gluing them on every day. And the guys were both game for it. And Jason, actually, Schwartzman was quite funny. At one moment I went in to give, to discuss a scene with him while he was having it applied. And I walked in, and he's a musician, and he's really, just like always playing music and always playing the guitar. And he was playing, what was he playing? God Only Knows by the Beach Boys on acoustic guitar while his prosthetic was being applied. That was his way of coping with that moment. How'd you get the cast together? Because they're all very good. And was there a lot of ad-libbing in this film? Because I sense there was a lot of ad-libbing going on.
Yeah, so the cast came together quite nicely, actually. Mark Duplass and I sort of went out together. Mark has kind of a good reputation with these movies of actually being able to get them made and released, and a lot of his movies play at the Sundance Film Festival, and so it was enough to make folks like Taylor Schilling, who probably has better things to do, or Adam Scott, who has better things to do, actually take pause and read the script that they're being given. These are actors who are quite busy and getting a lot of scripts sent to them. And so it was nice to have them initially connect with the script, and then, once we got to the point of actually making the movie, a big part of my direction was letting them know that this was a place where if they felt like a scene, it felt emotionally right for a scene to go a certain way or to say a line of dialogue that wasn't necessarily in the script, that they were allowed to do that. This wasn't like one of the movies, like a lot of the kind of bigger comedies, they have these scenes where actors are just riffing, and just kind of like making up the dialogue as they go along. And that wasn't this. I mean, we had a full script for the movie, but there is indeed a lot of moments where they would deviate from the script, and you just get great little quips and moments that just added to the authenticity of it. I wanted this movie to have these kind of bigger, broader comedic moments in it, but I also wanted it to be grounded, because at the end of the day, I wanted you to care about the characters. I wanted it to be funny, but I also hopefully didn't want the characters to seem annoying or like you just didn't believe or trust what they were going through at the end of the day.
You opened at Sundance, right? The Sundance Festival. But today, the movie's going wide. How many theaters are you in today?
So today, the movie comes out in 300 theaters, which is a big deal. These independent movies don't necessarily, it's a big deal for them to even be released on video on demand or come out through Netflix or iTunes, but the fact that the company that bought us was willing to put it out on screens is a huge deal, and it's exceeded our expectations in terms of where the film is going to be shown.
At the end of the film, my impression is they're not going to see each other again. Is that how you feel? That's how it ended? Is that film that we just watched, is that the film you wanted to make? Did it come out just the way you wanted?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I wanted to leave it somewhat ambiguous as to whether they would see each other again. I wanted that last moment in the park to feel kind of...
I think I'm lying.
Excellent. I wanted that moment at the park to I wanted it to feel awkward. I wanted it to feel as real as that could be, of these guys who had gone through this experience together and then actually see each other again, But at the same time, I was really, I wanted to make a movie about this subject that didn't involve judging me as a filmmaker judging the characters or forcing the audience to judge the characters. I wanted it to be something where you're seeing these people have this experience, and then it's kind of left up to you to decide how you feel about it. And yeah, this is the movie I wanted to make for sure. There's a few moments in this film that are sort of the first kind of epiphanies that I had as a writer, where, I know it's totally ridiculous, but the moment where the guys have their dance by the pool, that was actually the first moment as a writer where I was seeing articulated exactly what I had written in the script. This is what I wanted.
How come, and then we'll take questions from the audience, how come the wife that was the uptight wife was okay with her husband kissing a man? But she seemed fine with that.
Yeah, well, that was I was hoping. There's this kind of almost cliche in these movies, especially nowadays, where they have the man-child guy that's having all the fun, and then it's his wife that's the one that's saying, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that or shouldn't do this." And so I was well aware of that sort of archetype going into it, and I had a lot of conversations with Taylor before we made the movie of I didn't want this character to be that. I wanted her to exist somewhere in this space where, what happens at the end of this movie is what happens as a result of this night, and as a result of all these people revealing these sort of deep feelings that they're having and deep insecurities that they're having. And I liked the idea of not only those insecurities being revealed, but those insecurities being met with compassion and empathy at the end of the day, you know. And I thought that it could still be funny and have the characters interact in that way, you know.
Does anybody have a question?